Perfect. Well, we're going to be diving into that today. And I'm going to kick us off. Let me get my screen shared with you guys. With what are some things that you need to, that you're going to need in preparing for growth and preparing to really go into that next phase of, okay, I want to move into a one-stop shop platform. I want to elevate my brand in the online space and want to just have that presence in the online space. So here's some things that I want to start off with. Before you invest in a platform, there are three questions that and there's probably more than just these three, but for the sake of time, here are three questions that I think will really help support you in making a decision in your business to going into the next step of, okay, in my automation, in my system management journey, what is the next right step for me and where should I invest? So the first question that I believe you really should get clear on is, what is your mission and vision for elevating your online brand? And then the second question, and I'm going to go into each of these in more detail, but do I already have a successful offer that is organically proven? And do I have a brand guide? So those are the three questions we're going to be diving in today. So the first question, going back, what is my mission and vision for elevating my brand in the online space? You really need to have that clarity on who am I serving? Why am I serving them? How do I want to serve them? What is the legacy I'm trying to create here? What is that? What is the motivation behind what I'm doing with my business opportunity? And how do I want to scale that a year from now, 5 years from now? What do I need to support that mission and what is that vision? So for example, my mission, and if you guys hear me go Facebook Lives all the time, I'm always talking about, like, I want to help ambitious kingdom women build profitable online businesses that create kingdom impact, but doing it from a place of rest versus hustle and grind and anxiety and lack. So like everything I do, all the decisions I make are coming back to that, in that like innate mission that I have of, okay, how can I create an offer that's going to help with giving people the principles and strategies to build profits in the online space. And then I can look at my vision. How do I want to cast that mission, cast that vision into reality with, do I want to have a program? Do I want to do email marketing? Do I need like a landing page? And so getting really clear on my mission and vision for where I want my brand to go is going to help guide those next steps when it comes to choosing an online platform to support me and choosing what systems I need in place to support that specific mission. So once I have my mission and my vision of where I want to go and have that foundation in place, then I can really dive into my offer or offers if you have multiple offers, and get into that space of creativity. But I really encourage those of you, especially who may still be newer in your entrepreneurial journey, to like actually have some proven just proven success. And it doesn't mean you have to be like a millionaire, but like, have you had a couple of clients go through your offer? Do you have testimonials from of like the actual transformation that you brought or the result that your specific offer brings? And have you proven that in an organic way before bringing a system behind it? Because the system, the platform that you choose to support your business, to grow it and automate it, is really just going to enhance whatever you're already doing in an organic format. So if you're not clear with your mission and vision, if you're not clear with your brand and who you are, who you serve, how you serve them, how do you want to show up, what type of experience do you want to bring to the audience that you're serving, what type of resources and tools, if you don't really have that spelled out, then the system that you build, the time you're going to invest, the money you're going to invest into that system is really just going to take what you've already have right now and you're just moving it into an online space. But if nobody knows who you are, if you don't have any brand awareness, if you don't have any proven success with your offer, then it's not really going to bring you necessarily profits, right? Because you have to lay the groundwork, you have to have the foundation in place, and then the system's going to come along and support that foundation and enhance it and elevate it. And yes, it will help increase and multiply it as well. But without the foundations of having that mission and vision, without the foundation of having like a proven offer, there's you're still going to be struggling with getting new clients, with converting leads if you don't actually have a conversion process from I need a lead to I'm going to nurture them to they actually become paying customers. One of the ways that you can summarize all of this is a brand guide. And this is something that I love to do with my clients. And so I'm going to show you what mine looks like, and you can just make this in Canva. Here we go. So this is a brand guide that you can make, and I learned this from one of my marketing coaches that I partner with, the Weber Co. And so I love sharing this with my clients because it really does help you understand who are you as a brand, and your brand is really more than just logos and fonts and colors, right? Our brand is really the what do people remember us? How do people remember us? What type of experience do we give to them? What are they saying about us after they come into contact with our brand? So creating a brand guide is really going to get you in a space of clarity so that when you go to build on a platform like Kajabi or Kartra or Scalability, then you already have the main foundational pieces in place. So you can either, you know exactly what you want to see in the website, in the landing page, in the course portal that you're building out for your members, or you can delegate that building of this platform to somebody else, and they don't have to come to you and be like, how do I write your copy, or like what are your brandisms, like what are some words that you that your clients, like we always say purpose partners, or we say rise to your purpose, like kingdom impact, operating from rest, like those are example of brandisms, or that those phrases that my brand is about. So this brand guide is going to encompass your vision and your mission, your brand promise and tagline, your positioning statement. So how do you position yourself in the marketplace? Your avatar, story, and details. And your avatar is basically that audience, that one person you're trying to serve. And then, like I said, the brandisms, the brand words, the one-liners that you use, your experience, how do you differentiate yourself in the marketplace? And then last but not least, your brand style guide. So that's where it comes, your like fonts and colors and formats, those come into place. And that's how you're going to stand out in the platform when you're building your website and the landing pages and the visual effect. But the visual effect without the words, without the copy that's speaking to the person that you want to serve, without that brand awareness, really, again, is just going to fall flat. So you want to make sure your business is set up with these foundations in place so that when you do invest in a one-stop shop platform that can do your email marketing, that can do your website, that can do your landing page, lead capture, nurture funnel, that can support your course or your program or your offer, that it really is elevating and enhancing the experience that you're already giving to your customers and clients. So I'm going to take you through this brand guide just so you have an example of it. Again, this is something that I love to go through with my clients as well. But so here's an example. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but I will pick out different highlights. So like my vision is, and this is more eloquently stated than probably what I said in the beginning, but like leading a movement of kingdom-centered entrepreneurs who are fearlessly pursuing the call God has on their life. So everything that I'm doing in my business is to help those ambitious kingdom women just go forward and do the things that God has for them and walk with them step by step and give them, if they have that God-sized vision, help them bring it into fruition. And I get to do that through my coaching and through my IT services that I provide. And then my mission, right, is to empower the mission-driven entrepreneur to build that profitable business with streamlined systems so they can operate more in rest than hustle. So again, you can see like everything that I'm doing with this workshop is in alignment with this mission and with that vision. And then my brand promise. So here's an example of a brand promise is my promise is to guide, empower, and inspire entrepreneurs to achieve their full potential and make a meaningful difference in the world. I'm committed to helping you create a life and business in synergy. I'll equip you to be able to use the systems we put in place for your business so that you can profit and expand your mission seamlessly. So when people come into contact with my brand and they're partnering with me and I'm doing discovery calls with them, they're going to know, hey, when you work with me, this is the experience you're going to have. This is my promise to you as a brand, as a company. And I'm going to be with you every step of the way. I want to equip and empower you. I want you to have the systems in place so that you can profit and expand the mission, the vision that God has given you. And then an example of my tagline is rise to your kingdom purpose or rise to your purpose. We even have t-shirts that say that. So that's an example of how you want to get really clear on your brand promise. Like, what is your promise to the clients, the customers that you are serving? And then a positioning statement. This is also a really great exercise for you to do as you're building out your businesses, is how are you going to position yourself in your industry, in your area of the marketplace, so that you are separate, so that people will remember who you are. And so for me, my positioning statement, right? Like I want to position myself as somebody who's going to come and lead the entrepreneurs who may be piecemealing these systems. And I want to help them streamline their systems and do things in a way that is in synergy, that is in alignment with who they are and their core values, and is also going to help them maximize their impact and honor God through their work. And so that is how I'm positioning myself, as I want to provide this holistic approach that combines practical business strategies with biblical principles, equipping entrepreneurs to steward profitable businesses that align with their values and their mission. So getting clear on how are you going to position yourself in the marketplace. So there's people in the marketplace doing what I do, but not everybody's doing it with biblical principles and strategies. Not everybody is actually equipping and empowering their clients to use the platform. Let's say I come in and build up the system for them and put all the things, the automation in place for them. They're going to leave knowing how to use their platform too, and knowing whether they keep coming back to me to like fix things, I still want to leave them with the wisdom to continue to build their business without me. I want to help equip those women. I want to get them started, but I also want to empower them to be like, you can do this yourself too. And then I'm not going to go into the avatar story, but this is really important as you're diving into who you serve. You really need to understand who you're serving. What are their pain points? What are their struggles? What's their story? What are their demographics? The details about them? What stage of life are they in? What is their family and marital status? What's their occupation? Because that's also going to help you understand, okay, what is my pricing? Like if my avatar is, making $100 a week, they're probably not going to be able to afford a 10K offer, right? And so like if you want to have a higher ticket offer, your avatar probably needs to be somebody who is making 50K or more, depending on how high of a ticket offer that you have, so that you can meet them where they're at financially too. So it's really important. Knowing your avatar is going to help you with making decisions on your offer, your pricing, how you position yourself, and how you show up and differentiate yourself in the marketplace. So it is important to make sure you are taking time to understand your avatar details. What are their core beliefs? What are their personality traits? What are their values? What are their pain points? What is their current situation? What's keeping them up at night? What are those intrinsic motivations that they have? What are their desires? So once you have your avatar in place, that is really going to help you with your copy of your website, your landing pages, your offers. If you do any ads in the future, it's going to help you know how to speak directly to that specific person that you're trying to attract into your offer. And then to kind of wrap up, like more on your brandisms, your brand words, your brand voice. So when you show up, how do you speak? So like I'm always saying, hey friends and purpose partners. Um, I'm somebody who's pretty straightforward. I don't really like to have a lot of fluff. You know, if you follow me on Facebook, my Facebook lives are like 10 minutes or less. Like I want to just get in and get out. I want to get to the point. I don't like wasting time. So I love streamlining processes. And if something is a waste of time, like it really annoys me. So I try, like, that's how I want to show up. I want to be a calm presence. I'm down to earth. I'm gonna kind of the girl next door. I'm gonna give it to you straight, and but do it with a heart for God and a heart for serving. And then your differentiating factor, getting clear on how you differentiate yourself in the marketplace. So, like for me, I want to put Jesus back into the marketplace and back into the center of everything that I create with my business. And I want to do this with my clients as well. So, if somebody doesn't want to work with a faith driven person, then I'm not for them. And that's going to repel the people that I don't want. And I'm going to attract the people I do want. I also love incorporating biblical principles and strategies into everything that I do. The Bible has like so much wisdom of how to build a successful business, how to have a successful life, and how to create wealth in all areas of your life. And it's really comes down to being obedient to God. And so it's like, how do we tap into that by partnering with the Holy Spirit, which is what I talked about yesterday, so that we are doing the things that God's calling us to do and being obedient and able to see the fruit because of that obedience. And then one of the final things is your brand experience. So how do you want the people who come into relationship with you, with your brand, what is that experience going to be like from the moment they see your website or your landing page or see you on Facebook or social media to now they're your client to, okay, they're ready to do your testimonial survey at the end of the time they spent with you with your offer. So what is that complete experience like from that first touch point to they've received that transformation, and actually walking through that experience every step of the way, because that is also going to help when you're building out your systems. That is all part of the experience. The email marketing, the website, the landing page, the offer page, right? Those are all part of that brand experience. And so when you're writing your emails, when you're writing your copy for your pages, you need to have clarity on when somebody comes into contact with this system that I'm building, what type of experience do I want them to have? What type of feeling do I want them to have as they're reading through the copy on the landing page or on the website? And make sure that that's part of your brand promise too, that I spoke about earlier. And then the final part of your brand is the fonts, the colors, the pictures that you want to display for your like brand in the online space. So, but without all of that other foundational pieces, when you actually go to build your website out, it's really you're just like you're gonna have a harder time building it out because you're missing these foundational pieces. So that's why before we like dive into platforms and what you can do with the one-stop shop platform, I really wanted to get clear on, go back, on these 3 questions and making sure that you guys are being equipped and empowered to go out and understand what is your mission and vision. Do you have an offer in place that you have actually tested out with 1 to 2 people at least to see, okay, what did I like about this? What did I not like? And do I have testimonials of transformation that I can incorporate into my website or my landing page? Because you definitely want to have a testimonial section. And then am I really clear on my brand and what my brand experience is going to be like for the people who are going to be coming in contact with me in the online space? And then the next thing I want you guys to make sure you have from a foundational standpoint before you invest in a one-stop shop is really getting clear on how you're growing your audience in the online space. So if you're building your brand in the online space, you should have an audience in the online space. And so some ways that you can do that is through social media, through capturing emails, like in a Facebook group or with a free resource or offer, having a podcaster being getting interviews on different podcasts so you can expand your reach. Those are some ways to grow your online audience. There's a lot of different strategies out there. Doing workshops like this is another great way to expand your reach as well. And building that brand awareness, right? Because like I said, your website, your landing pages to your offers or free resources, your email marketing, all of that is really going to enhance and elevate what you're already doing in the online space. So if you're not also putting foundations in place to grow your online presence, then who's going to come to your website? Who's going to read your emails, right? So we need to be doing these foundational things before we invest in a one-stop shop platform. And building your brand awareness comes from showing up, delivering on your promises, and being consistent with your presence in the online space. And then again, are you working with clients? Are you proving your offer and getting those testimonials? Because when you go to build your website, you go to build your offer and in a landing page funnel, like you want to have testimonials in place for the testimony section. Like that's a pretty standard section with any type of website or landing page, like I said. So I really want you guys to make sure you have these in place. I would love to take a minute and just pause and just see in the chat, you can drop it in the chat. What are some ways that you guys are growing your online audience? Have you proven? How's it going with your offer? So just drop in the chat, let me know like kind of where you're at in your businesses right now with, have you been building your brand online for a long time? Have you guys, do you have a proven offer that you have testimonies, or is this still an area that you're wanting to grow in? And you can either come off mute or you can just drop it in the chat.
For me, I've been in network marketing for a little over 3 years, but never even thought about a brand. I heard everybody, all my uplines always talking about a brand. You'd have to do this, you have to do that. But they didn't really help us with it. They just said, you need to do it. So since I've been working on me this year, I've been learning all the different things. So I've been doing I'm in a process of learning right now, so I can start implementing. But I am working through my offer with 2 people right now with my coaching offer. So I can work out what I want to add, what I want to take away, what worked, what didn't work. That's what I'm doing now. So as far as what I need I'm starting from scratch basically right now. So I have a lot of work to do. I do have an idea kind of, like what I want as far as the visual effects, but it's the building it out, doing the stuff that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, these are things I wish I had 5 years ago when I was, kind of stumbling in the dark, trying to figure out how do I want to show up online? What do I want my brand to be? Like nobody was really talking about brand experience and how to differentiate yourself. And so these are really great strategies, Dawn, that you can catch right now while you're getting started.
Right.
Did anybody else have anything that they wanted to share about where they're at in their journey?
Yeah, for me, I feel like I started in one area and like I've learned who I thought my ideal client wasn't necessarily my ideal client. I've done some group coaching, I've done some private coaching. So I feel like my methods are tested. But it's that transformation. Like I even have testimonials, but it's very personalized because I do work-life balance coaching, right? And so I have a method with my bullseye and the things that I do, and I found that to work really well. But it's everyone's transformation is a little bit different, one. And so like finding ways to word it that and package it in a way that people can see how that would help them. And then just moving into like for me it's more narrowing and niching, and then having like my free to pay journey just nailed out. Like I have all the building blocks, but I just need to like hone in
together,
and refine it and get it done. And because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, I think I'm not a fly by your seat of your pants test it. Like I try to have it figured out ahead of time, but that's really stumbling me because then I'm not just going. And, you know, I started to go just at least to do the group coaching and get things rolling and test things. So I feel like I did that, but now I feel like I'm in that process again.
Yeah. Well, two things I want to share on that I've learned in my experience working with coaches and just my own is one, done is better than perfect. So when I was building out my first program, I was like, all right, I need to get this done. Like I'm going to record this video and it may not, you know, I may say a lot or like whatever, but I need to get this done. And so just doing the thing and getting it into the world. Like our devotional, right? Our devotional was it started out, we wrote 8 devotionals for our 8-week program, and then I felt like God called us to turn it into a 30-day devotional. And there's probably spelling errors in it. Like I've reread it a couple times. We've done like a 30 like book thing with it in our purpose partner community. But it's in the world and people are still being transformed by it. So Don, I just feel like the enemy, if that's where you're stuck, like that is just something that the enemy is using to keep you stuck and keep you from actually putting your message into the world that God wants you to get out there. So just done is better than perfect. And then also not being afraid of failure. I think this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with is failure is feedback. And once I actually started to understand that, I'm not as afraid to go and do things and try things because like with this workshop, right? Like this is my first 2-day workshop on this specific topic that I've had. And that's why I'm excited to have those feedback calls with you next week to hear what were things that went well, what didn't go well, how can I be better, how can I continue to elevate this experience for future events or workshops that I host. And coming into it like with excitement and a little bit of fear and a little bit of anxiety, but also knowing, you know what, I'm going to just do it because I know this is what God wants me to do and it's not going to be perfect. And my child may be screaming in the background at some of it like it was yesterday. It was definitely not how I envisioned day one going, and having my husband have a meeting at the exact same time pop up during the workshop that I had scheduled, but I did it anyway. And you guys tell me, were you blessed yesterday, even though it was a little messy, right? So I just want to encourage you, Don, to not let perfectionism, like I'm right there with you, like recovering people pleaser, recovering perfectionist, and going from where I am now to where I was like in my 20s, there's so much more freedom in just realizing, hey, God's going to work this out. And I just need to take the next right step and be obedient. And that's where the success is going to be. It's going to be in the obedience to God. And he's going to bring the right people to you, and he's going to repel the people who don't need your message. but by you not doing anything is hindering you from reaching the people that God has appointed you. So I just wanted to encourage you with that, because that's been a stumbling block for me in my career as well.
Thank you. That speaks to me, so thanks.
You're welcome. All right. Any other last comments before I kind of dive back into the last slide I want to show you guys for this specific lesson? Okay, so I want to dive into how to actually effectively utilize a one-stop shop platform. So for those of you who are like, what do you mean when you say one-stop shop platform? A one-stop shop platform is something that is a platform that's going to basically meet all of your business needs in one space. So you don't have to piecemeal different systems together. Like WordPress is my least favorite platform to build on because there's so many add-ons. I just don't feel like it's as user-friendly of a system as well for people to just come in and build something versus a platform like Kajabi or Kartra or Groove, CM or Scalability, which that our guest speakers, you're going to hear from him, the owner of that today at 4 p.m. But what I want you guys to look for in a one-stop shop platform are these different features. So a one-stop shop platform is going to allow you to capture leads. So it's going to have a CRM or customer relationship management system built into it. So you're going to be able to capture those leads, nurture those leads, take them on a journey from they come into contact with your website, your landing page, offer. And when I say landing page, do you guys know what I'm referring to? I can step back to. Like, does anybody not know what a landing page is? Okay, so you want to have a platform that's going to help you capture your leads and nurture them, take them on that journey, and automate that lead nurture funnel for you. So an example of what a one-stop shop platform would be is like let's say you have a website, and on the website a pop-up comes up, and the pop-up leads them to a free resource, or it could be a paid resource as well, but it leads them to some sort of resource. And in order to get that resource, you get to capture their information. So there's a transaction there where for their name, email, phone number, maybe address, depending on what if you're mailing them something, there's a transaction where they get this resource from you if you get their contact information. Once you have captured their contact information, now you can put them into a nurture campaign where they are now in your email system, and you can email them leading them to, hey, here's our free resource. If you like this, here's other ways that I can serve you and partner with you. And you're nurturing them with an email campaign. And that email campaign can lead them to, maybe it's scheduling an appointment with you. And all of this can be done in the background while you're off spending time with your family, but you already have you do the work once, and then it works for you thousands of times over and over. So looking for a platform that is going to allow you to capture your leads and nurture them, going to allow that nurture process to become automated to get them from they come in, you nurture them through an email campaign, through your resources, and you get them to schedule an appointment with you, or you get them to purchase a product from you, whatever that funnel leads to, but you have that automatically set up. And the beauty of it, like I said, you do it once, and then it works for you over and over and over. And so some forms of that could be your email marketing, and text is becoming really popular as well with one-stop shop platforms. So finding a platform that does have SMS capabilities, and then finding a platform if you want to, I know you guys are in like the coaching and consulting spaces. So having a platform that's going to have the course and the membership option inside instead of having, you know, multiple different platforms to have your email. And then I have to go build my course over here and I have to go build my website over there. Finding a platform that fits all of these areas. And then also it's going to be able to invoice clients for you so you can get paid. Most of the platforms that I've worked on will connect to like PayPal or Stripe. Some do Venmo. It kind of depends. There's different, but those PayPal and Stripe are probably the most popular integrations with invoicing clients and getting paid. And then also a platform that actually gives you analytics and reports is really powerful too. So you want to be able to capture data on your email opens and sends. Like are people sending or reading your email? Are they clicking through your email? If you have buttons or links, are those links converting? Are people unsubscribing and why are they unsubscribing? Do you have a high open rate? So those are analytics that you want to understand and have in your one-stop shop platform. Let's see what other type of reporting you can do. So if you are a coach and you want to build out a membership portal, are people actually going through your program and completing the different modules that you've built out for them? So that's another report tool that is great with a one-stop shop platform, is that you can see in one place my email conversions. I can see my client conversions, where people are at in the process of they just came in, they're brand new, to now they're a paid client. And you can have data and reports on that. So these are 7 ways that if you're going to invest in a one-stop shop platform, these are what I would recommend you looking for, because these are going to be the different features you need to actually scale and grow your business. Once you have your brand awareness in place, you kind of understand how I want to capture people. Now you have a place to send them to capture their information, a place to send them to get to know you better through like your website pages. And it also gives you the ability to have all of your offers in one spot too, which is really nice. So the beauty of a one-stop shop platform is you can have your website on the same platform as you have multiple landing pages for different offers, and your emails in one place, your member portals in one place, your invoices is in one place, and you're only paying one fee for that. And there's that's the other thing too, is when you're looking at one-stop shop platforms, make sure you're looking at what are all the features that they have and what are their brand promises. Because I've worked in different platforms where I'm like, okay, you say you house emails, but I have to connect to this other platform now so that my emails send. So like that's kind of misleading. So making sure that you are like reading through their features. My favorite platform is Scalability right now, and that's why I have Aaron coming on. He's going to just share more about his platform, why he built it. I love his heart behind his platform because he is faith-based as well. So obviously for me as a faith-based brand, like Scalability is going to be something I want to partner with. But I've also had really good success with Kartra, Groove.cm, Kajabi. Those are all other great one-stop shop platforms. Go High Level is another one that is pretty popular. And so you want to look at features, and then you want to look at your budget. Which one is going to work for you? So like Scalability is $97 a month to Kajabi, which is like, I think their basic is around $150. So there's also different price points that you want to look into. And then I also encourage my clients to, if you can pay the annual rate, you usually get a discount on that. So that's just kind of like that's more of like a side note of when you're investing in things in the platforms. If you can pay the annual fee, you usually get a discount, and that's just more of a money stewardship tip for you guys, not necessarily a web design or IT tip, but I have found if you can do annual payments, you can get a pretty good discount. Okay. I'm going to pause here for a minute and just open up for some questions around one-stop shop platforms, if you guys have any, and before I move on to the next segment. Okay, why don't we go ahead. Well, first, we're going to take a break, but I wanted to just say, like, were there any aha moments? Open up the floor for that too. Like, from this last segment, were there any aha moments or like things that you're excited to go look into after going through that last segment?
I'm making a list of all the things you say that I need to work on. I'm sorry.
No, you're go ahead. Sorry.
I like I said, I'm all new to it, so I didn't know what all is available, what I should be looking for, what I should be doing. All the, I know some. I've been around for a while, so I know some, but just all these ideas are popping up in my head now that of what I can do and what my next steps are. So this has been very, very, very informative.
Awesome.
I think for me, the brand guide is pretty cool because I feel like what I'm doing is a little different than what everyone else is doing, but to be able to really focus on that and like, what's our vision? What is it, what is it that we want to accomplish? Because we still want to make a positive impact on someone. And it's not just providing therapy for someone. I mean, it goes much deeper than that. So I think to make sure that passion and that, that those goals are very present in everything that we do, even, the website, my website's probably going to look different than what everybody else's looks like, but I can still, I think that gives me, it's going to help me focus and kind of narrow down what's going to be important and what is it that I really want the people to see when they come onto the site. So I think that was super helpful for me.
Yes. Well, and the brand guide too also helps you with bringing on teammates or delegating different things too. So having that brand guide in place is going to continue to allow you to scale your business, because now you can help people. If you need to delegate a task, they can like maybe you're going to delegate messaging or writing ads or writing social media posts, and now you can hand that guide to them and they know who you are, how to write for you. Or bringing on a team member. So like you want to hire different therapists for your autism center, and you want them to be in alignment with your brand culture and the brand experience. Like you want everybody, like, here's our experience, that if you're going to work for me, if you're going to be a part of my team, this is our promise. This is how we differentiate ourselves. This is how we're going to stand out. And so, yeah, that is such an important foundational piece to building your business, online and offline it for you too. So awesome. All right, it's 3:00. So why don't we take about we'll just do like a 10-minute break, and then come back for our next segment. And then I'll do one more segment, and then we'll have Aaron on at 4, and then we'll probably wrap up. I think he's going to talk for maybe 30 minutes, and then we'll wrap up around 4:30 again. So, all right, I'll see you guys back here in about 10 minutes. Hey, Linda, we're on a 10-minute break, so we're gonna meet back at 3:10. Okay.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
Perfection. Truth is, I don't want to see my own reflection. All these pieces are so hard to hold together. Am I the only one feeling what I'm feeling? My vision's blurry and I a feeling. Running around, feeling so down. Trying to be everything to everyone else. Losing myself. When it feels like work. When my heart aches, I go easy on myself. When I hear you say, I got you. Oh, yeah. You've been so good, you've been so kind. If it all goes wrong, I got one thing right. I got you. Oh, yeah. When my heart deceives me, I know what is true. I've been leaning on me, I should be leaning on you. 'Cause when my heart deceives me, I know what is true. I've been leaning on me, I should be leaning on you. When it feels like work, when my heart aches, I go easy on myself. When I hear you say, I got you. Oh, yeah. You've been so good, you've been so kind. If it all goes wrong, I got one thing right. I got you. Oh, yeah. Look what you've done. How could you fall so far? You should be ashamed of yourself. So I was ashamed of myself. The lies I believed, they got some roots that run deep. I let them take a hold of my life. I let them take control of my life. Standing in your presence, Lord, I can feel you digging all the roots up. I feel you healing all my wounds up. All I can say is hallelujah. Look what you've done. Look what you've done in me. You spoke your truth into the lies and let my heart believe. Look at me now. Look how you made me new. The enemy did everything that he could do. Oh, but look what you've done. Suddenly all the shame is gone. I thought I was too broken, now I see you were breaking new ground inside of me. Standing in your presence, Lord, I can feel you digging all my roots up. I feel you healing all my wounds up. All I can say is hallelujah. Look what you've done. Look what you've done to me. You spoke your truth into the lies and let my heart believe. Look at me now. Look how you made me new. Oh, the enemy did everything that he could do. Oh, but look what you've done. On the cross, in a grave, with a stone rolled away. All my debt, it was paid. Look what you've done. In my heart, in my mind, in my soul, in my life. With my hands lifted high, saying, look what you've done. Look what you've done in me. You spoke your truth into the lies and let my heart believe. Look at me now. Look how you made me new. Oh, the enemy did everything that he could do. Oh, but look what you've done. On a cross, in a grave, with a stone rolled away. All my debt, it was paid. Look what you've done. In my heart, in my mind, right now. How could I ever outrun the shadow of my doubt that says I'm not good enough or worthy of your heart? But if you hold my forever, hope is never too far. I know that you have good things planned for me, beyond what I find in my wildest dreams, So I will praise you through it all, even before the miracle, believing when I cannot see. I know that you have good things planned for me. Infinitely greater than what I think is best. My future is surrender, so today I can rest. 'Cause you say I'm good enough and worthy of your heart. And if you hold my forever, hope is never too far. I know that you have good things planned for me.
All right, ladies. Let's come back and we'll go into our next exercise. All right. Okay, so what I want us to do, whoops, going too fast. There we go. Okay, so I want us to do a little exercise here and play a little game. So this is going to involve interaction in the chat for the next few minutes. So I want us to start with what would it look like if your life and business looked exactly the way you wanted them to look? So we're here right now today, and then looking out a year from now, if we're traveling up this green line and your business looks this is the way you want it to, your life your life and business is working in synergy, you're making the money that you want to make, what would that look like? Drop in the chat what that's going to look like for you. So if you could step into your streamlined business at the highest level, what would that look like for you? What would that feel like? Hey, Rebecca, welcome. All right, so John says I would be able to automate some key things while still being available for my clients and customers so that I could do the traveling I want to do and have downtime. Yes. Love that, Don. Freedom from being at the demand of others' schedules. Yes, Linda. Being able to have more family and fun time. Yes. Security, giving to others free time. Yes, that's time and financial freedom that everybody's wanting. Anything else for like, what would it look like if you could step into that streamlined business? You're operating at your highest level. Your life and business is in synergy. Everything's flowing together. What would that feel like? What would that look like? Peace, purpose, profitable. Yes, Rebecca. Okay, now what would it look like if everything a year from now, you get to a year from now and everything's just kind of okay? Maybe you're seeing some growth, but it's just kind of just going okay. What would that look like? What would that feel like for you? You'd probably still be stressed out. Yes, Don. Frustration, slow moving. Yeah, you're seeing some growth, but not really much. It's slow going, mediocre, stagnant. All right, now let's imagine what would it look like a year from now? What would failure look like a year from now for you? If your life and business are just way off, what would that look like for you? What would that feel like for you? Misaligned. Yeah, that's so true, Rebecca. Overwhelmed, burnout. Yeah, sad face, Don. Not able to get, yeah, Stacy, not being able to get your center up and going and provide no security. Yeah, stress, unrest, spinning my wheels, unclear. Yeah, so good. And like, right, nobody plans to be in the red. And this happens because you're lacking mentorship, lack of community, lack of resources, lack of knowledge, right? And because you're not in the right environment, it's so easy to fall into this way of being, or maybe just staying average and not really progressing. You're staying inconsistent and you're not really where you want to be. So, what I want to share with you, if that's okay, is how to get to your goal a little bit faster. So if you can drop okay in the chat, if I lead you into what that would look like, drop yes or okay in the chat. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so the way I get to do this is I have a model in place, and that's my model is what I want to show you today. It's made up of 3 different areas. And the first thing we're going to focus on is synergy. And that's kind of what we talked about yesterday, is building your life and business in synergy so that this is how your life and business flow together. And so I want to play a game with you guys called red light, yellow light, and green light. So what I want you to do is drop in the chat if you, when you think of your life and business being synergy right now, are you in the red? Are you in the green? Are you in the yellow? Where would you put yourself? Is my life and business is in complete flow. There's no conflict. I'm not feeling resentment. I'm not feeling burnout. Yellow, 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 orange, kind of in the red, kind of in the yellow. I love that, Stacy. Okay, now same question, yellow. Okay, where do you guys see yourself right now with your divine identity and authority? So we talked about that yesterday of how to partner with God in your faith and business, to stand in your divine identity, standing in your authority. Do you guys feel like you're in the red, in the yellow, in the green with that, in the green, Dawn? Awesome. Yellow, leaning green, yay. That's a good place to be, Rebecca. Yellow. Yeah. So where would you guys say with partnership with the Holy Spirit? We talked about that yesterday too, how to come into that 100% alignment and belief to receive all of the fruits of the Spirit in its fullness and partner with God to make decisions to go forward in alignment with where God is calling you into that obedience. Yellow leaning into green, yellowish green. Yeah. I think that yellow to green is probably just because we're humans, we're always going to be probably in the yellow green and in our divine identity, because I think every day we have to wake up and kind of remind ourselves, oh yeah, I am a child of God. I have this authority. This is my identity, not what the world is going to be telling you. And again, stepping into, okay, I can partner with the Holy Spirit. I don't have to do this in my own strength and my own wisdom. Where would you guys put yourself on the rest over hustle? Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling in lack? Or do you feel like you're operating in rest majority of the time? Red. Yeah. Yellowish. Yeah, that is a hard one to like stay in operating in rest. And I can tell you, like, I still struggle with that too, and I coach on it most of the time to my clients. But it's a daily dying to ourselves. It's a daily, you know, leaning on God's strength and not our own strength. Yeah, yellow. Okay. So the next pillar or framework, if you will, that we're going to do is strategy. So where would you guys say with red, yellow, green, where would you say you are with your differentiated brand message? So we talked about that earlier today with creating that brand guide. How are you showing up? How are you differentiating yourself in the online space with your brand? What is that experience that people have with your brand? Where would you guys say you're at with you specifically in your differentiated brand message? Yellow, green. Okay. What about your marketing strategy? Do you guys feel like you have a solid marketing strategy that's working for you, that is bringing in new leads, that is helping you nurture them and convert them? Red. Yeah. And then do you have a unique goal achievement game plan? So do you have a game plan for your step by step? Okay, here's my goal and here's how I want to achieve that. And then lastly, where are you guys at with your defined profitable offer? Do you have an offer in place? I know some of you are in network marketing, and so that's a little bit different, but if you're like in the coaching space or you're building out a coaching program, do you have an offer that is defined and you feel like it's going to be profitable? Okay. Just started with your offer, Rebecca. Okay. And then the last pillar is it going to skip? There it goes. Is our system. So this is also what we were talking about today. Where are you at? Do you have a one-stop shop platform for your entire business yet? Is that still something that you want to build towards? It's in your head. I love that. That's the best place to have it, Rebecca, is in your head, right? Oh, yes, Linda. Linda is one of my clients, so we've already been working on this, building that up for her. Not 100%, that's an option for me. Okay. Do you think that, Stacy, because of the type of business that you are creating with your autism center?
Yeah, just with the different programs that I have to have for data collection and just kind of the people, it's hard because I'm working with a group of people who know the business or know the programming piece of it and what like how to do all of that piece of it, but they don't necessarily know how to do the business piece of it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So that's where I feel like I kind of have to figure out, is that the one stop really an option for me? I don't know that part yet. I feel like I'm still so new in this part of it that I still have a lot of research to do.
Yeah. And I think for you, Stacy, there's still going to be the capabilities of a one-stop shop platform is still going to serve you, right? Like you still need the website, you still need the email marketing systems and probably the text systems. Did you look into that Simple Practice platform I showed you last time we talked?
I have a little, but honestly, I feel like I'm not even
Ready
I
for
feel
that
like I'm
yet?
not even there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the part that's hard.
Yeah, and there are, like, you being in the medical space or the more like that industry, like there are platforms out there for you versus like a Kartra and Kajabi, maybe more for like the coaches on here, the advisors and consultants on here. But there are platforms that are geared towards the medical space that still provide you with a one-stop shop capabilities. There still may need to be some integrations, but the point is when you're choosing a platform is that you're choosing one that is you're going to get a return on your investment. You're investing in a platform that has the majority of features that you need to build and scale your business in the online space. With yes, there may be a caveat for you specifically. But there are platforms out there that can still do a lot of what you need without having to piecemeal and invest in a bunch of different platforms. So just wanted to make sure, Stacy, like as you're researching different platforms, and you and I can talk about this offline too, more, but I just want you to know that there are platforms for the medical industry to still serve you and meet you in that space. So don't feel discouraged about that. Okay, where are you guys at with like email sequences? If you don't have a one-stop shop, you probably don't have, well, you may have an email platform like MailChimp is kind of a standalone email platform. Do you guys have anything like that where you are actively emailing already? I know Rebecca, does BizKit do emailing for you?
It doesn't do emailing for you, but I was just starting to type in, I love email marketing and I started doing it a year ago, but I honestly have not kept up with it. And it's a level of intentionality that I'm well aware of. It's an intentional thing to do. I think it's actually a lot of fun when you put together and you craft and you create things, but you do need to create the space for it. I guess unless you outsource that. But if you're talking about learning there's something about learning how to do things foundationally first for yourself, I feel, before outsourcing, because I think it's just empowering to know how to do that, and I'm all for outsourcing too, like do what works for you, but BizKit will have that option. It's not there right now. So A Weber is just what I've been.
Okay. Yeah. And I think and that's what we talked about. I don't think you were on yet, Rebecca, but we were talking about having those foundations in place before you even invest in a platform or like delegate anything. Like yesterday we talked about ditch, delegate, and do to help you operate and rest. And yeah, you need to have those foundations so that you can train the person who you are going to delegate to, and they know your brand, they know the experience, and that's just going to, when they're writing copy, even if you use a resource like ChatGPT and it does most of like the heavy lifting for you, you still have to customize it so it's your voice. So yeah, like I 100% agree. Like these are skills that you should know, but then yes, I'm all for delegating them as your business grows and scales. Yeah, Linda, see, like you don't need to use MailChimp anymore because of the one-stop shop platform that we are building for you. So that is like that's the beauty of the one-stop shop platform, is now you can get rid of that expense because you don't need it. Your platform's already okay. And Don, you said you have beacons, and that's like I think it's a great tool to get started because it gives you the essence of a landing page or a place for people to come on a much smaller scale. So if you're like starting out and don't really have the finances to invest in a platform like Beacons or a Linktree or Milkshake, I think it was called app, those are great kind of starting points to just create a presence in the online space and have a place to point people to go to your links. But yeah, as you're scaling and growing, those are things you kind of want to move away from and get people into going to your platform. Because then you'll have the capture, you'll be able to do more with the people that are coming into system. Okay. Landing page funnel created, or a lead capture page for a resource. Do you guys have that at all for those of you who have offers? No, yeah, Reds. And core, I'll just like skip to the last two, like the courses, the website design. Where are you guys at with those in red, yellow, or green? Yeah, Linda's a green building out hers. Okay, awesome. So, one of the ways that I get to serve my clients in all of these areas is my Victoria Systems Accelerator. And so when you have all of these things down, you end up getting a streamlined life and business where you can fully show up in your zone of genius, or what I like to call your field of favor. And so that's like the middle of the triangle right there, where once you have your life and business and synergy, you have your strategy in place, you have your systems in place. Now everything in your life can be streamlined and you can fully show up where God has called you to show up. And so that's my vision, is to help you guys turn all of these yellows and reds into green. So let's say you're on here and you're feeling, in conflict with your life and business, and that's where you need to start with your game plan. Well, we have the ability to work through that, where you're getting your life and business and synergy, you're operating from a place of rest, and now you have space to work on your strategy and work on your systems. But maybe you're like, hey, I'm pretty good, and like I'm standing in my divine identity, I'm operating from a place of rest, but I really am struggling more with the systems, or I'm struggling more with the strategy. We can start wherever you are and create that custom game plan to help you get to your unique priorities. And so our first priority, though, like I said yesterday, is really just to help you get into that space where you are building your life and business and energy. You're rock solid in your identity, your partnership with God, and you're operating in rest. Because I think without that, and you're not building your life and business around your core values and your priorities, then you're not, everything else you build upon, I think if you don't have that solid foundation, it's not going to be sustainable. You're eventually going to reach burnout again. You're eventually going to get yourself stuck in resentment mode because you're not building in alignment with your priorities and with who you truly are. And you're trying to fit into this box that the world wants you to fit in. Some of you will get through pillars faster, right? If based on where you are, what type of growth and personal development you've already done. But this is like what it would look like to partner with me. Would be like, we would work on synergy, strategy, and systems in place. And so the way I do that with my clients, with my mastermind, is we have that one-on-one plus group experience. So it's kind of like that hybrid where you're getting that one-on-one, we're doing those custom game plans with you, making sure that you have the right tools for you to get to the goals that you want to achieve. And then there's the hub, we have guest speakers, and then we also have support calls, coaching calls, Q&A sessions, plus Facebook groups and emails. And so there's going to be so much support in the mastermind so that you guys are getting those strategies in place for you to go from that yellow and red to green, and getting those systems built out, whether you do it yourself and like me holding your hand along the way, or like I do it for you, like I'm doing with Linda, where she's, we're building out her course and program. But I'm doing all of the back end heavy lifting for her from a system perspective. So there's different ways to partner together on that. And then having the tools that you need to feel equipped and empowered to go out and continue to grow and scale without necessarily having to have a coach with you every step of the way, right? There's still that mastermind group. There's still this hub that you can always tap back into. But I want you to be equipped and empowered to be like, to step into your zone of genius, to step into that CEO personality, right? Where like you are the CEO of your business. You are you are confident in the decisions that you need to make. You are confident in the next steps for you and for your business. And so the way I get to do this with my clients is through my mastermind that I want to share with you guys before we go into our guest speaker section. And so this is my 6-month Love It or Leave It Victorious Systems Accelerator. It is a high touch 6-month coaching experience hybrid. There's going to be group coaching plus one-on-one for the ambitious kingdom entrepreneur, where I want to give you that hands-on support plus systems to really bring your course, your program, your offer from idea to ready to launch. And so what this looks like from a payment structure is if you want to do like the payment plan, it's $2,000 down to get started and then $1,600 for the 5 months after that. If you want to pay in full, you actually get $1,000 off. And so, like, what would that look like for you to close the gap and invest in yourself? And most people fail in their businesses or fail to like get to that next level a year from now because they are lacking that community. They're lacking that community support and they're feeling isolated. And so I want you guys to ask yourself if this is something that you're like, I would like to partner with you and turn these yellows and reds green. Like, are you ready to invest in yourself and take that shot in yourself to finally bring that vision that God's given you into fruition? And it's going to be a stretch. It's going to put you out of your comfort zone. This is not a sales call. Like, you can't buy anything on this call, but I did want to take the time and just share with you, this is what I'm doing. This is my vision for serving. And one of the things I found with my one-on-one is that there's not enough space to continue to hold their hand after they launch. And so that's why, if you like, Linda's in my 4-month program, and she's gonna notice like I'm making it a 6-month program because I want to make sure that after we have your systems in place, after we have your strategies in place, now it's like the implementation part. And like Linda and I, we're running out of time on our contract agreement because we're trying to get her systems built out. And then it's kind of like Mama Bird's going to push you off the nest, but I want to still be there. And Linda, don't worry, I'm not going to just leave you hanging high and dry. But creating this 6-month mastermind groups really helps everybody come together as a group and grow together and bounce ideas off of each other. Plus, they get that hand holding from me along the way with the extra support even after the launch of your program or your offer. And so, like, that's the beauty of the feedback call. Like I said, you guys can't buy anything on here. This is just me sharing with you what I'm doing, how I'm showing up and serving my customers, my clients. And on the feedback call, what I want you guys to do is just honor that. Like, that's not like, you don't have to do anything on the feedback call either, but this is just a way for me to hear your feedback on the event. So I would really like, don't reschedule, don't cancel. If you're like, I don't want to buy anything from you, that's fine. But on the feedback call, that's when I want to hear your experience here of how the workshop, how the lessons were. And then if you do have any questions, we can use that time on your call as well. So is that fair, right, for everybody to honor that agreement, make sure we're still meeting for our feedback call? Drop yes in the chat, please. Like, this is, I'm not like, this is all, I just wanted to introduce this to you guys. But this is not the main point of this workshop. And so I know some of you are excited. Some of you are like, this is not for me, and that's okay. I want to serve you both. I want to meet you both where you're at on that feedback call. So, all right. So we have some time actually. So we're going to take a break and then we're going to come back, do a quick, takeaway section. And then Aaron's going to come on at 4 and, talk about scalability, which is his one-stop shop platform that he's created. And I'm so excited for you guys to meet him. He was a divine connection. Bridget, she was on here yesterday. She's going to actually pop back on at 4. She's like, I saw this platform that had, this guy was like talking about God on his landing page, like, check it out. And I checked it out and was like listening to his story of how he, and I'll share this more in the bio, but like, he's like, God created the earth in 6 days and then automated it so he could hang out with us. So I'm like, yes, right? Like, that is the beauty of a one-stop shop platform. You're going to build it all out in, you know, your 6-day time frame and get it to automate and multiply for you so you can go and be serving the way that you're called to be serving and fulfilling the mission that you have been given. So I can't wait for you to meet Aaron. He is awesome. I'm like, you had me at hello. I watched his video and we hopped on I was like texting and it actually happened to be his text number, his support text on his platform. And we hopped on a Zoom. We were texting back and forth and hopped on a Zoom. And he's like, how can I serve you? And I'm like, well, I'm doing this workshop on one-stop shop platforms. And so that's how I got Aaron to be a guest speaker today. So I'm just really excited for you guys to meet him. Let's take a 3:40, take a 10-minute break. We'll come back here at 3:50, do a quick takeaway, and then he should be on and we can go into his section and then we'll wrap up after him. So, all right, ladies, I will see you back here in about 10 minutes.
And know how good to me you are, and know how trustworthy you are, and know how good to me you are. I know that you have good things planned for me, beyond what I find in my wildest dreams. So I will praise you through it all, even before the miracle. Believing when I cannot see, I know that you have good things planned for me. Oh, you're trustworthy. I know that you have good things planned for me. Though my lips were saying, God, you are good, my heart was asking, is it really so? You knew what I wanted more than anything, but that's the one thing I felt you withhold. 'Cause you knew I wasn't ready, you knew the time it'd take. Now that I can see your wisdom standing in this place, I say thank you for the nod yet, thank you for the nod now, for the hold on, for the silence. It took a while to see how you were saving me for something a little farther down the road, and now I'm standing in your better yes. So thank you for the love. You were working on my patience, leading me with love. You knew just how much I hate to wait. Through it you were tender, teaching me to trust. Guess sometimes that's how you grow our faith. I say thank you for the nod yet, thank you for the nod now, for the hold on, for the silence. It took a while to see how you were saving me for something a little farther down the road, and now I'm standing in your better yes. So thank you for the no. Thank you for the no. Oh, I can finally see it. All your ways are better, so much better. You're working all things out for my good, for my good. So thank you for the nod yet, question, are you still good? Can you make something from the wreckage? Would you take this heart and make it whole again? Though the mountains may be moved into the sea, though the ground beneath might crumble and give way, I can hear my Father singing over me. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I've blamed myself, and if I'm honest, maybe I've blamed you too. But you would not forsake me, 'cause only good things come from you. Though the mountains may be moved into the sea, though the ground beneath might crumble and give way, I can hear my Father singing over me. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. From beginning to the end, you're so close. You have never let me down, and you won't. In the valleys and the shadows, I know you're so close. You're so close. Though the mountains may be moved into the sea, though the ground beneath might crumble and give way, I can hear my Father singing over me. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. My love is safe. It only gives, it doesn't take. So breathe it in. Let it be truth where lies have been. Open up your eyes, darling, lift your head. Dare to take my hand and hold on. Don't you give up now when it all falls apart. Let me be the one you lean on when you're not strong enough, dear daughter. Don't let go. My love is kind. It only heals, it never harms. So breathe it in. Let there be life where death has been. Open up your eyes, darling, lift your head and dare to take my hand and hold on. Don't you give up now when it all falls apart. Let me be the one you lean on when you're not strong enough, dear daughter. Don't let go. You don't have to hold this. You can let the pieces fall down.
All right, ladies, if you want to start coming back,
To carry you through it
All right, I just talked to Aaron and he's ready. So he'll be hopping on here in the next few minutes. So while we wait for Aaron to join, and I think there'll be some other people hopping in too that could only come for this part, but I'm like, oh, everybody come to see Aaron. So while we're waiting for him, I would love you guys just to share some of your takeaways, your ahas from the last couple days. What was your like favorite lesson or exercise that we did? And you can just come off mute.
Kind of like what I mentioned before, I think the brand guide was really good for me. The core values, I really like that. So that's kind of what I think, for me, that's kind of what I've taken away to kind of go to that next step.
Perfect.
I agree again with Stacy. The brand guide and the core values, that the exercise we did with the mom and dad hurts, and I just have a new whole list of stuff to look into.
Yeah.
For me, it's all about the synergy, you know, because I've always operated just as out of a place of just do it, you know what I mean? So, but to be operating from a place of, you know what, if it doesn't include your core values, then you might want to take a look at it, you know? So for me, that's just been such a blessing, to really go, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's my favorite. I could talk about that all day, but I only really need
Yeah.
2 hours to get through that lesson. So. But yeah, like that has been, I think, the biggest game changer for me over the last 5 years in my entrepreneurial journey of building a business the world's way versus building it in alignment with my values and recognizing I don't have to sacrifice my family. I don't have to sacrifice my health to still build a profitable and successful business that serves the people I'm supposed to serve. And I think when you get to that point, there's like real freedom there. Because then you're like, oh, there's a strategy where I can still be present with my family and friends and do date nights and I don't have to be hustling and grinding my way to whatever goal some person sets for me, right? Like I feel like earlier in my entrepreneurial journey, I was just like, oh, somebody told me I needed to go after this result. And then I'm just like, wait, why am I going after this result again? Like, is this even what I want? Is this even in alignment with how I want to build my business? And that's how you got to hit rock bottom, and then you learn all these great lessons, and now you can come and coach them to people. Okay, anything else? Any other takeaways? I was like, Aaron, I'm like, you can hop on early if you want, because we are ahead of schedule.
I just love everything that you said. I know I've only just hopped on, but like I definitely resonate with everything, and like what you were saying, Brandy, in your journey of entrepreneurship, of just realizing one day, like, oh, I can do things that feel good for me and I can still be successful just because it may be different than what maybe you're seeing elsewhere.
Right.
And I think that's really empowering, because all of us are unique, right? We could all say the same thing, but we're all going to still say it a little different, right?
Right.
Because we all have something else behind it. And I think the more that people understand that, the more you cut through the noise of the same.
Yes. Yeah.
Because we're not the same. I mean, like,
No.
we're all amazing, amazing humans, but you know what I mean? Like, I think it's important.
I 100% agree with you, Rebecca. And like, right, like everybody I think is appointed to different people. And so like your voice, your message, even if we're coaching similar things, it's going to resonate with people completely different than the way I approach something or the way I verbalize something or my energy with that person, right? We're going to attract and repel the people that we're supposed to attract and repel. And that's like why it's so important to do the things that we talked about earlier on day one with like building your life and business and synergy, partnering with God and the Holy Spirit, standing in your divine identity and authority, and then working everything from that place. Okay, we have a couple more minutes for any other takeaways that you guys want to share. And I see Erin's on. Yay, we're so excited for you, Erin.
I'd like to share the brand guide and you going through just those processes for the strategy and the systems was really helpful for me. They're all things that I know I need to work on, but it was nice to see. I think that was very smart to have it all in one document, and that you said you could use it for when you have staff or other people to hire on that. So I just thought that was a really unique thing that I hadn't seen before that I really appreciated.
Awesome. Yeah, that is a great tool to go through with my clients, because it helps me know how to build out their platform, their system for them, write their copy. But then, like you said, if they're bringing on teammates or if they're trying to delegate to a VA or somebody, getting that extra support, then they have that in one place to easily train that next person. So any other takeaways from the last couple of days? All right. Well, Erin, we are ready for you. If you're ready, we can go ahead and start. So for those of you, I've been talking of Erin, but I just want to read his bio to you guys. Erin Jennings, he is the owner of Scalability and the creator of Watch Missions Live. Erin believes that God created for 6 days and then he automated everything to keep spinning so he could spend the rest of his time in relationship with us. I just love that so much. Now he spends his time teaching kingdom-minded entrepreneurs how to leverage automation in their business and ministry to multiply the business God's given them without denying the ministry God's given them. So without further ado, perfect. I may have delivered that last sentence wrong, but
that sounds perfect. It's good enough. It's an imperfect world. I'm an imperfect guy, so it works just fine.
Awesome. Well, take it away, Erin. We are so grateful for you to be on here today to share more about Scalability and just share your mission and vision behind that. So without further ado, go for it.
Okay. Well, I can start a little bit about it. I am very hands-on. I like to have people get results immediately and to move forward. And I know from what I know of Brandy, she's the same way. I know she's out to like help people succeed. And so stuff like this challenge, I'm sure, has been very serious and put together with a lot of thought. I'm the same way. But if it's okay with you, I'd talk a little bit about it. And then I can teach some stuff on automations that I think are super important for business and ministry, and then open it up if that's all right with you. So I'll tell you a little bit about Scalability first. And if you want to ask questions too, Brandy, feel free to kind of guide that for your audience. But in 2011, I was a police officer in Wichita, Kansas, and I had a big house on 10 acres of land. And honestly, I'd always wanted 10 acres of land or more. And I wanted to be close to a highway where I could be in town and still have stuff to do very quickly, but still had my own space. And I grew up racing motorcycles, racing professional motocross, and then hired out doing freestyle shows. And so right across the street from my 10 acres of land was 80 acres of motorcycle playground. And I was on the police department for 5.5 years. So I had my dream house right across the street from 80 acres of motorcycle tracks that I didn't have to maintain. I just got to play with. And I had the retirement and the benefits and all of those things, right? And I literally thought, this is the next 25 years and that's it. I go to work and I make my paycheck and I come home and I spend my days off and my extra money fixing my nice house on 10 acres. And I ride when I can, and then I go back to work. And that's it. I was 5 years into a 30-year career and everything was the stuff that I wanted. I think I was like 25 years old, 26 years old at that time. And I was just like, man, I was made for so much more than this. And so in May 2011, my now wife and I, we sold the house on the 10 acres, got married, quit the police department, and left the country as full-time missionaries in the month of May 2011. So we did all those things in 1 month. We just like dove straight in. Within 2 weeks, we were standing in the slums of Kenya, where we spent 30 days in Kenya, and there was a guy dying in the mud next to a trash igloo. And there was people that didn't have food and clean water, and they were literally living in trash igloos. They just bent sticks to make an igloo, and they'd layer it with trash they found in the streets. And then they bend sticks and put trash, and that's where they lived. And I remember asking, like, what's wrong with this guy? What's going on? And they said, well, he's dying, but none of us have any money, and the government won't help. And I remember standing there thinking, what if I was standing here as a rich missionary instead of a broke one? And that was 12 years ago. And that question has fueled my entire life since then. As we traveled and did missions work, I saw more and more and more that if I was standing in a place with money, I would have done a lot more. Not that we have to have it. God said, go, we will pick up and go, period. Our whole family, my wife doesn't question it. Our kids don't get to stay home. If God says go, the whole family picks up and we go. And so it's non-negotiable in our house. And so we know we were doing what God told us to do, but I was just like, Lord, how do I do more? Not because I have to. Salvation's been given. I don't need it. But when we love someone, you know, like God and everything he's done for us, like, how do we do more for them, right? How do I do more for my children because I love them? How do I help more, do more? And so that question has really fueled me. During that 30 days there at the orphanage that we were staying at, the lady that was running it, she'd been at it almost 30 years. And she would fly back to the United States, raise money, come back to Kenya, and she would buy children from the government. Because when kids are thrown out on the streets, for those of you who don't know, in Kenya, ladies have to sell anything they can to make money to pay for food. They'll sell their bodies for 50 cents. And so there's lots of people getting pregnant that don't want to, and they literally will just have the baby and leave it in the ditch somewhere and walk off. And so when these kids actually survive and make it on the streets, the government will take them off the streets and they put them in what we would see as a basement. 4 concrete walls in the ground with no windows, no doors. That's their rescue, if you will, for kids on the street. They put them in a basement with no windows, no doors. They put 5-gallon buckets in the corner for them to go to the bathroom in, and they don't clean it out every day. And so they'll literally be locked in this concrete hole, and that's how they get homeless kids off the streets. So she was buying them from the government and taking them to her 10-acre farm where they had built a school and dorms, and they had a little garden, and they had a few cows, and they had a church building and some playground equipment. And at that time that we were there, we stayed for 30 days and we watched 2 missionary teams come in and then leave during the time that we were there. And what we learned was she was trying to retire. So she was actively trying to get this one person in particular to take over her orphanage. And this person wasn't interested in it. And I remember just watching and listening to conversations and thinking, what if she can't find somebody to take it over? Almost 30 years of rescuing kids from the streets. And what if nobody can take it over? Because as we sat there and watched, the locals, the kids, and the staff members that were working there, they would literally sit down and wait for the next round of missionaries to show up and bring them stuff. They'd put on a show, they'd sing and dance, and they'd hoot and holler and have a good time and make the missionaries feel good. And then the missionaries would give them a bunch of stuff and then, you know, give money and feed into things. And then when the missionaries leave, they'd sit down and wait for the next group. Like, so the locals knew nothing about actually fixing their own situation. And her entire ministry was built on, she flies back to the United States, raises money from people with money, brings it back, and then funds what's happening. So if her plane goes down at any time, what happens? If nobody takes it over, what happens? And that was the start of our missions career. I think a little differently than most people. I challenge myself very much harder than most people to always be growing and getting better. And when God said, go do missions, I looked at it the same way. I was like, Lord, you've given me this. You've called me to this. How do I steward it? And the way that I see stewarding is not traditional. I believe the parable of the talents, the 2 that were praised were ones that multiplied. And the one that saved was cast out. wicked and lazy servant. And so I see when God gives us something that we should multiply it, that's how we steward it. We take care of it and we make more out of it to give back to him. And so I look at this missions as you've called us to this. What do we do here? That was 12 years ago. I had no idea about systems, automation. I wasn't doing business online. I came from being a cop where you just show up, and definitely a lot different work. You handle the things and then you go back to the stuff, and that was it, right? And now here we are in missions, unemployed and homeless, traveling around doing whatever God says. And I looked at this orphanage and I thought, what if they'd take some of the land and they planted a garden, and then they just simply had an idea of 50% of it we eat and 50% of it we sell. And when we have chickens, we keep 30% of them for breeding for more chickens, 30% of them produce eggs, and 30% of them we eat. And we sell the eggs, 50% of the eggs, and we eat 50% of the eggs. Now they're producing their own food over and over by simply saying half of it we keep and half of it we sell. It's simple things, and I had no idea what I was doing at the time. But I looked at it, and for the last 12 years, that has grown, that same picture. I can feel myself standing there in the slums. I can smell it. I can picture the people still. And I'm just like, if we could create simple systems, a way of doing things that would multiply whatever God's given us, then that orphanage could keep going, even if somebody didn't take over, even if her plane went down. And since then, it's fueled everything to, it took me 6 years to figure out how to make money online. But from that point, I was like, I don't want to be the broke missionary who's eating ramen myself and barely getting by so that I can just pray with people. I was like, there's people dying in the streets, living in trash igloos, no clean water, no food, and I'm fully capable. I thought, I can figure this out. It took me 6 years before I figured out real estate wholesaling, and I started wholesaling real estate 3 months before we moved to China, where I was going to be a stay-at-home dad. So I have 2 daughters. They're 2 years old and 4 years old when we lived in China, and I had been investing in real estate for 3 months. So while in China, I was taking care of the girls, I was getting my workouts in, and I made $108,000 by flipping houses in the United States as a stay-at-home dad living in China, while my wife was teaching English there. And it was time blocking, and it was figuring out a system for the way that I did everything. And then from that point on, I knew how to make money and leverage people and automation and tools and a calendar and a schedule to where I was present with my daughters. And when my wife got off work, I was present with my wife and my daughters. And when my kids went to school, I was present with my wife. And then when I was at work, I was focused and at work, right? Like I got everything done and everything did well in that time. And I thought, man, if people knew how to do this, we could like not just build businesses, but all this cool business knowledge that's out there could be put into missions work. And I thought back of all the missions that we'd done. I was like, man, if I knew how to do this and this, we could have like left that better than what we did. We could have done more over here with that. And so I believe now more than ever, I've spent the last 5 years teaching people one-on-one how to create systems in their business. And I truly believe that it's a biblical model. The Bible tells us to have multiple streams of income. The Bible tells us that we have been given the ability to create wealth. He's not going to give us the wealth. He's given us the ability to create wealth. We must do something. We can't just have faith, because faith without works is dead. We must do something. I believe he's already given us everything we'd ever need. And we just have to figure out how to use it by spending some time with him. And so many of us get stuck in the running around doing busy work, and we miss the time with him. And so I'm very passionate about, if you guys have ever heard yourself say, well, I feel like God's given me this idea for business, then it is now your responsibility to multiply it. How do you multiply everything in your business? Because you have to have meetings with people. You have to send emails. You have to make posts. You have to send invoices. You have to coach or write the book or whatever it is that you're doing. How do you do all of those things and still have any time left? And that's where I believe God placed us in this time with the tools that we have for us to use them. I'm not one that thinks technology is a horrible demon out there. I believe that God gave us the tools and we can use the tools to advance the kingdom until they kick us off the tools, right? Like, I don't agree with everything Facebook does. I know there's an agenda, but they spend millions of dollars a month addicting people to Facebook. So I'm not going to avoid Facebook. I'm going to show up and I'm going to sneaky Jesus that place until they ban me, which I'm actually banned right now, just so everybody knows. Like, I'm on a 30-day hiatus from Facebook. But I immediately had the systems in place to where I have paid groups in Facebook. And as soon as they banned me and shut me down on Facebook, I just sent text messages and emails out to my members and brought them straight into a community we already had created for them. Nothing missed a beat. Other than the fact we've moved from Facebook and they're millions of dollars worth of addicting you to their groups, and we've plugged you into our group, and we continue. So I believe if we leverage the technology of today and we fight this battle, we won't lose as much ground. And so I'm huge on technology and everything else, and that's where scalability came from. Scalability came from this idea of how do we multiply? After almost 5 years of coaching people one-on-one, everybody's wasting time with software and duct taping things together and do the email over here and the automation over here and the websites over here and my social over here. And it's like, if we could put it all in one place with one username and password, then it would streamline the whole process, which ultimately saves us time, because my time is more valuable making disciples. Because making disciples isn't preaching once. Making disciples is showing up and teaching them how to obey so they can make more disciples. That's what I'm created for. So I'm very, very passionate about not getting stuck in doing crappy business stuff that keeps me from making disciples. And when you get really focused on what you're doing and why, and then getting intentional about, like what Brandy says, bringing it into one place, one platform, one simple process, it allows you the time to do what God created you to do. And now you can multiply the business without denying the ministry and spending time with people. And then I know, Brandy, you talk about partnering the business. Through all of this and the systems, I found myself get sucked into business. And I was like, how do I get the time? Because I created this to provide for the ministry, but now I'm not doing the ministry. I'm not spending time with people. I'm chasing these dollars. I was like, no, I don't want to get sucked into that. And so we learned, if we take these systems and we leverage them through the time and the schedule and the automation, automating things allowed to free the time. And then the structure of a calendar or blocking that time, and then intentionally blocking God time with me and God, with my wife and God, with my kids and God, and with others in God. Blocking it in like it's just as important as my workday, because it's more important. And we started doing that, we start seeing things, right? And then I started questioning, how do I bring God into everything I do? And as you can see right now, we're on a business webinar talking a lot of God stuff, because I can't not talk about it. It's a part of everything that we do now. The entire business is structured around helping kingdom entrepreneurs multiply what God's given them. Software is a tool. We have services. They're tools. That's it. And it's all tools that help you multiply what God's given you, because that's what we do. And then we've partnered and created a nonprofit that is building an app that will be live streaming Christian missions work from around the world. Because technology is in the palm of our hand. Why aren't we using it in missions? We're still sending monthly newsletters once a month. I don't even read my friends' monthly newsletters. I want to get on Zoom and be like, dude, what's up? So we're building that into an app, and the business is funding that, because the business grows, the ministry grows, and I get to tell God stories in my business, and our ministry tells God stories. Everything we do revolves around what God has called us to, and multiplying the time he's given us, multiplying the money he's given us, multiplying the relationships that he's given us, which means going deeper, and then teaching those around us too. So that's as fast as I can make all of the stories, because I could tell stories for weeks. and I absolutely love talking about what God's doing. So, do you have any questions for me? Everybody's like, I don't know. I'm different than a lot because I will literally let people just do it on the fly and ask questions. So did you have something, Brandy?
I was just gonna say that's why I love Aaron and why I'm so grateful you got to be on this, because this is what our entire 2-day workshop was about, was partnering with God in your faith and business and multiplying, streamlining so that you can operate in your field of favor. So thank you so much for coming on. Do you want to share scalability? Like, I can give you screen share permission. I don't know if you wanted to show your platform off. You have the space to do that right now if you want to.
Okay. Well, we can. I like to run people through like the ideas first, and then I can show you. I can show you some of the tools if you want. But since I was catching up from your 2 days, I wasn't able to listen in on the whole thing. I figured I'd see where we were at. What's some of the businesses you guys are working on? Just for the people that are in here, what's some of the businesses you have? So I can address specifically.
Come off mute.
Yeah. I have a coaching business that I'm starting, plus a network marketing business.
Okay, perfect.
I help Kingdom entrepreneurs implement simplified systems in their business.
Nice. Okay.
Health and fitness according to their identity in Christ.
Okay. So like coaching and programs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I am opening up an autism center.
Nice. Okay.
I am.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Oh, I am a Christian balance coach. I help people do work-life balance God's way.
Okay. Good.
I just wrote in the chat coaching. I just started in coaching and right now in human design and energy. And I do have affiliations that help support entrepreneurs in the online space with their business. I'm a founder of a business app. So it's really cool hearing about your app. And as well as actually helping not in the online space, a brick and mortar with businesses that have been able to sustain through COVID and helping them small, medium-sized businesses specifically, nonprofits, even churches and everything. Yeah.
Gotcha. Good. So there's always lots of coaching. And if you guys are typically on webinars, there's always lots of coaching courses or programs delivering content, right? And then of course, calendars, like booking with people. So the Autism Center, people are going to come to a website, right? And they're going to learn about it. And then you probably want them to schedule a time to come in and actually book an appointment. We literally just built something like this. With the coaching and things, you're delivering most of the time a digital content and some form of interactive community and a coaching program with weekly calls. With all the businesses, it doesn't matter what it is, there's always going to be certain elements that will be across the board you must have in order to grow. And I call it fast scalability. The company is Scalability. That's the software. Fast scalability is just an acronym, but it stands for foundation, automation, systems, and traffic. A lot of us, when we start a business, we're looking at people that have already done it. We think it's amazing. They're 10 years ahead of us, and we think we can do what they're doing. And so we jump straight to traffic. We skip the foundation. We don't know about automation. We don't even realize we need systems because we're brand new to this thing. But ultimately, if you get your foundation in place, then you have a set way of doing things that is the same all the time, systems, and automation to support it, then you're ready for as much traffic as you want. And so I know what Brandy's talking about is bringing it all together into one place. That's primarily what scalability does. So your foundational points, you're going to have your websites or landing pages. You're going to have forms and surveys where people can opt in and you can capture their information. Those are your foundational elements of any business and any ministry. Even if you're running a nonprofit and you're growing an orphanage or any other kind of business out there, it doesn't really matter. You are going to need to be running people somewhere, and you need to be able to capture their information, or you have no systems and automation. You can't follow up, and you can't do anything else. And most of us are like telling people what we're doing, but we're not really capturing anything clearly. So your foundational elements, your website, your surveys, your forms, those are one thing, but then getting them in place in the right order and with an intentional purpose. Okay, so I always say, what is the one thing that you do that you can clearly tell people, and what's the one action that you want them to take? That's what you look at for every single piece of anything that you're working on. If it's a ministry, if it's a business, it doesn't matter if it's coaching, if it's a brick and mortar, whatever it is. Because if you're brick and mortar, you're probably going to set up Google My Business with a website, with your address and your phone number and everything else, and reviews, because you want people to find you. The biggest mistake people make when they create their website is telling everybody every single thing they do. And this will keep you from growing. It will keep your ministry from growing as well. If I come in here and I say, I've got a ministry and it's basically missions work. We do disaster relief, we build houses, we rescue kids, we do ministry in the homeless in our area, we help with our church, we fundraise to do this, and then we do this, and we put on camps for kids. People are like, wow, that's great. I have no idea how to help you. That just sounds amazing. You didn't resonate to them to where they go, that's amazing, I must help, right? All of the things are good, but the problem is you spoke to too many things, and so they were just overwhelmed and they didn't do anything. The biggest problem we have with websites is people like to put all of their credentials and all of their products and everything else all on one page. So if I say, I help kingdom-minded entrepreneurs multiply the business God's given them without denying the ministry God's given them, click here to grab your free trial of scalability. Is it clear who I'm helping, what I do, and what I want you to do? Right? It's kingdom-minded entrepreneurs. So if that's you at all, you're going to be like, that's me. And here's the beauty. If it's not you, you're like, they'll be like, oh, those stinking Christians, and they'll leave. That's okay. We want to polarize the room and we want them gone, right? Like, I want these people, not these people. And there's nothing wrong with that, because if God gave this to you, especially for those of you who say, I'm a coach, that means God gave you a voice and he wants you to talk to people. And if you never get any people to talk to you, you're not doing with what God's given you, right? So we have to break it down and we have to say, okay, this is what I'm supposed to actually talk about and who I'm talking to. Now I need to capture that person, because in the Christian space, a lot of times selling is dirty. Well, if you believe God gave you this business idea and it's a business idea, that means selling is a part of it. So simply, how do we sell in a way that's not selling? I help kingdom-minded entrepreneurs multiply the business God's given them without denying the ministry God's given them. Have I sold you on anything? No. I simply said who I help and what I do. Start your 14-day free trial. Have I sold you on anything? I simply told you what's available. But if you're a kingdom-minded entrepreneur who feels like God's given you a business and you're tired of chasing business and not spending time with God, I have spoken to you, and you will click that button and you'll give it a try, or you'll reach out to me or something, because you'll be like, okay, he's got something I need, right? If God told you to coach, you have to learn how to put it in front of people to where they go, she has something I need. And then give them one thing to do. Click here for a 15-minute discovery call where I'll teach you how to this. No sales pitch. I'm just going to teach you how to do this on our call. You don't have to sell when you just solve something for people. When you show up and you go, I'll do this for you for free, click here. And people jump on the call and you do that for them. They immediately go, man, I need so much more of this. I'm so glad I found you. can I, like, what do you sell? Or how do I work with you? I've had so many people go, how do I work with you? It's like, you don't have to sell when they're asking you, which is also a good way to do missions work and ministry. If you can make people ask a question, they'll stay all day for the answer. But if you show up and you try to tell them about Jesus, they're instantly shut off. So do the same in your sales, in your business. Make people ask questions. Oh, whoa, that sounds like something I could use. I'm curious. And if you're like, yeah, well, that's what we do. Not, yeah, well, if you're interested, let's get you on a thing and I'll do this for you, you know, and like try to sell them right away. Like, tell people what you do. And when you get clear on it, I help this person with this thing. And here's the one thing that you need to do if you're that person. And that's what you put on your forms and your webpage. And so your autism business, book an appointment. That's it. Don't do contact us with your cell phone and your business address. It's literally like book an appointment or leave. There's nothing wrong with that. The people that need the service, they're looking for it. And they need to book an appointment. That's how you're going to help them and solve their problem, right? And if they don't, because they follow your Instagram social media link to Instagram and they look at yours for 5 seconds and then someone else catches their attention and now they're gone and you didn't capture any information. Now you can't help them with what God's given you and told you to help people with. So we're not stewarding and multiplying what God's given us if we confuse people and give them avenues to leave to where they can't get our help. It's a different way of looking at it, right? But if we believe God's given it to you, that means God wants people to have it, and he's entrusted you to give it to people. So we don't have to sell, but we need to make it to where people can find it and they know exactly what to do. Okay, like that's huge. You look at the way Brandy promoted stuff for this challenge. What was it? Here's what I'm doing. Here's when it is. Here's what we're looking for. Shoot me a message or get on a call with me to talk to you to see if it's good for you or not. There was one thing for you to do, and here you are. And here some people aren't, right? And that's perfectly fine. It gets the right people in the right space, because when Jesus was walking the earth, he walked by a lot of people to heal the ones that God was leading him to. Remember the pool where the handicapped guy was sitting around? Everybody would wait to rush into the pool when the water bubbled. He went in and he healed one and he left. He didn't heal everybody there. God has given us things to do. We have to listen to what God's telling us to do and go after those people that he has told us to do this for. Like, it's very important that we understand these biblical concepts behind what it is that we're doing. Because if not, we get sucked in the shiny object of the rest of the world. But we have a better reason to be focused than the rest of the world, right? Like, we have to be focused because God actually gave us something and entrusted us to help other people with it. It's more important than the rest of the world. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna make some money. I'm just gonna change my family's future. Like, that's great. We're gonna change the world. But we have to be focused on it. So who are you helping, right? Even as a coach, as a physical business, as a speaker, it's pride and ego for a lot of people. I'm not going to call any of you out. Pride and ego for a lot of us, I'll even say us, when we create a page that talks about everything we do. If I'm selling this thing and I have to say, I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach, I'm certified in this, I'm certified in this, and here's the 24 amazing things I've done. It's like, some of it's good social proof, some of it's confusion and us feeling like we need to say it. Right? I help kingdom-minded entrepreneurs multiply the business God's given them without denying the ministry God's given them. Get your 14-day free trial. It doesn't matter what my certifications are or who we've worked with and who we haven't. That should speak to you and what you need help with the one clear and easy thing to do or not. Right? So I know I'm like beating this, but this is where it all starts. And if you can't get this part down, the foundation, how do you build a web page? You'll build one with all the buttons and all the social media links. People that come looking for your book, they don't need your Facebook link. They don't need to see your Instagram. They need a buy button for the book. Okay, and then they need an upsell to buy your course or your coaching program. That's what they came for. Give them what they came for, right? You're not misleading them. You're not selling them. If they come to your webpage because they saw something that you wrote a book, they're looking for the book. Just sell it to them or give it to them or whatever you're doing on that page, right? So get really focused. Who am I helping? What is it that I sell to them? And then what's the one action I want them to take? Okay. And this is what gets your foundation in place. Now you start to build your website or your surveys and your forms off of that. So at that point, you're going, okay, well, I help kingdom-minded entrepreneurs multiply their business without denying their ministry. I want them to do the 14-day free trial. So now I build a website talking about the software and what it does and how it helps that person do that one thing. And I put a button to start your 14-day free trial. Foundation is now in place, right? When somebody clicks that button, then what happens? This is the exercise I want to give you for every one of your businesses right now. This is, I literally simplified it. It's the then what exercise. It's like just a silly, stupid name. But then what is what you're going to ask yourself for everything. So when you have your person and you know, I help this person do this thing and I want them to start a 14-day free trial, say, then what? When they click the button on that website, it says start 14-day free trial, then what? Well, I need to get their credit card to set up a actual account to the software, right? So when they click the button, it brings up a payment form. Then what? When somebody fills out the payment form and says, yeah, let's go, then what? At that point, let's see, it'll automatically create the software platform for them. I need to send them a username and password. Okay, so we build that into an automation to send you a username and password. Then what? Well, I want them to have success with it. I don't want them to just have software. So I need training videos. Okay, well, when you get training videos, then what? How do you get them to people? You see what I mean? I'm going, then what, just after each step. Write it down on a piece of paper. Keep it super simple. A note on your phone, a Word document, doesn't matter. Just write down the thing you want people to do. Then what? Then what? Then what? Your ministry, you're fundraising for a thing. You're like, hey, we're trying to do this thing. We're looking for this type of person to give donations here. Click the one button. When they click the button, then what? Oh, I need to take their donation. Awesome. How do we do that? Put this here. Okay, now we got a payment link. Then what? I want them to know that they're loved and that we're thankful and grateful. And then I want them to get connected so they can follow up. Okay, so we're going to send them an email and a text that says thank you. Then what? Well, let's wait a couple days and then I want to follow up with them and let them know what we're doing, or we want to get them on our monthly email newsletter. I'm like, okay, so when they buy, it adds them to an email list that triggers the email to go out once a week or once a month. Okay, then what? Right? You can use it in every single thing that you're doing. When I get a new client, let's say for you coaches do a lot of, I wrote a book, and then they get the book, and then you upsell to the coaching program, right? Or they book you to speak. So you literally run people to, hey, get my free book. And that's all you talk about. When somebody gets the free book, they click name, email, get the book. Then what? I want it to automatically deliver the e-version, and I want it to send me an email and a text so I can mail them the physical version. Okay, done. Then what? Well, then I want to try and sell them my coaching program or have them book me to speak at their event. So I'll create another landing page that's like, hey, thanks for getting my book. Now that you got my book, if you didn't know, we do speaking engagements. If you're interested in having me come speak at your event, click here to schedule some time on my calendar. Let's talk. Well, then what? When they click here, well, it's schedule some time, so I need a calendar. What happens when they book on the calendar? Then what? You get it? It's simple, but it's like, but literally, this is where people have a breakdown because they go, where do I start with building systems and automation? This is it. Get your foundation in place. Do your then what exercise from start to finish. Then you will literally have all of the steps. And now you go one piece of the then what exercise and you go, how do I build this part? Well, if I'm going to run traffic to a landing page to sign up for my free challenge, then I need the landing page. How do I build a landing page? Figure that part out, build the landing page. What happens when they opt in? I want them to get an email and a text. Okay, how do I send an auto email and text? Figure that part out. Then what? Well, then I want them to show up and I want them to get reminders on the way. Okay, how do we do that part? When you get your then what's, you can go back and you can build each of the pieces. And this is how we build the automation and the systems inside of the FAST method. It's your foundation is your forms, your surveys, your templates. So you have a place to send the right person, a clear call to action, and you can capture their information to start triggering the automation and systems. Then you build the automation and systems to where it sends the reminders, delivers the product, takes the payment, does all of those things. And now you're ready to send your traffic. And it can be paid, it can be organic, it doesn't really matter how it comes. But at that point, you're free to dial up your traffic to whatever level you want. What I want you to hear in all of this, because you're going to start, it's exciting when you come out of something like this. You're going to start. I'm so hyped up. This is awesome. Everything was great. I learned so much. And you're going to get started. You're going to realize there's work involved. You got the then what exercise, but now you got to figure out how to build the stinking website. And now I got to learn how to write my copy. I don't understand that part. I don't even know what an upsell page means. And he's talking about automation. And now we go, oh man, this is where I want you to pause and remember something. God gave you this. That's pretty much it. That means you can't just stop. It was given to you because he trusts you with it. He wants you to multiply it. You've been given the ability to. And now you've been given it, which means he has entrusted you with it. So how do you multiply it? Right? Remember that, and then learn the thing you need to learn, build the thing you need to build, or pay the people to do it, whatever it looks like for you, wherever you're at. But remember that the reason is because in the back of your mind, you can say, did God give this to me or not? If he didn't, you're just doing it for fun, then feel free to quit whenever you want. You're not going to have success with it, but feel free to quit whenever you want. But if God gave it to you, I'm going to challenge you to never quit until he tells you to let it go, which if he gave it to you, might be a while because he's a very patient guy. But how do we take that? Remember God gave it to you and then plug that into the stuff that you're building. Okay. Like this is the most important part of anything. You've got your foundation, you've got your then what exercise. And at that point, the fun starts to wear off when you learn, I got to learn how to use a new piece of software, or I got to learn to use a new thing over here, or I got to find the right person that can do this for me. And I get it that all of that is daunting. And I get it that all of it can be frustrating. And I get it because I've done it too. I've got 12 years into my journey. Okay, so I completely understand. I've had to learn the software. There's lots of kinks and things that come from launching a software company. Cell phone carriers decided they were going to change the laws. And now all of a sudden that was my problem for every subscriber in the software, because they all have to change their, do certain things with their phone numbers or else they don't work anymore. You think they're mad at the cell phone carriers? No, that's our fault. We had nothing to do with it, but now we're along for that ride. But you know what? God gave this to me, so that's a ride I'm willing to ride. So we make a video. I spent 2.5 days of my own time learning what these changes were so that we could create a document and a video teaching people what they needed to do so that they wouldn't get frustrated with it, because God gave this to me and I will steward it well. And that's a part of it. So understand, if God gave it to you, you need to commit to the learning or the paying the other people to do it, or whatever that looks like for you, wherever you're at, so that you can move forward. Once you get that through your head and you understand, like, this is a God-given thing, and it's not just something cute you tell your friends, but you actually believe it, because that's real. That's real. There's a lot of not fun to running a business, but that's real. There's also a lot of not fun to running a ministry. Also real. And there's nothing wrong with talking about it, working through it, and going, God gave it to me, so I'll take the unfun and I'll do it. So I can soapbox on that for a while. I'll try not to. Okay, let me open up a scalability. If anybody has a question or a comment, I don't know what the rules are for you, Brandy, but I'm always like, unmute and just say it out loud while I open this up. But that's up to you guys. If not, I'll open up scalability and I'll kind of show you around a little bit. Does anybody have anything they want to comment or say before we move forward? Quiet crowd. Okay. I'm all right with that. Let me get a demo account open here so we can poke around and look at some things. And then I'll show you guys what it would look like in real time. Okay, it says I can't screen share, Brandy, while somebody else is doing.
Okay.
It says while somebody else.
Oh, let me
Is that
stop.
because I'm on presenter view? Or spotlighted, maybe?
I think, I don't know. I was sharing still. So you should be good now.
That's real too, just so you guys know, like family and things. That's why we do this. Never be ashamed of it, ever. I've had my kids walk in while I was doing a Zoom presentation like this. My daughters come in and I'm like, come here. I like introduce her because God's given you something. It's a part of your life. Generationally, right? We're passing things down. We're teaching our kids so that they can come up and they don't see work as a horrible thing. Like my kids see work as, well, here's another way of forming it. My kids have never seen daddy leave for work and be gone all day. They've never seen it. They're 7 years old and 9 years old now. They've never seen me leave. And I remember we were at a Bible study one morning and it was like an early morning thing and the girls were with us and my daughter comes up and she goes, why are all the daddies leaving? And I hadn't noticed it, but I looked around, I was like, oh yeah, like 3 or 4 guys have already left. And I was like, why are they leaving? I was like, oh, sorry, baby, they have to go to work. They have jobs where they have to go somewhere and be there at a certain time and be gone all day. Like my girls didn't even understand that like daddy gets up and leaves for work because our life has been intentionally built to where if God says go, we can go. And they don't know anything else other than that. So like bring your kids on what you're working with. Their technological advanced minds will actually help you with stuff you can't figure out. It's real. So when we go into scalability is like bringing one-on-one coaching into a software platform to where you can automate and systematize things and get that time back, but also that creating your then what exercise and taking those elements and saying, now what? If I've got a web page I need to send people to, and then I need forms and surveys, you used to have to get a website builder like Wix or Squarespace or ClickFunnels or something different just to do the website. Then you'd have to get like JotForm to do a form. And then you'd have to get Calendly so that you could have a calendar to book people on. And you'd have to bring all those links together on your pages to actually build them out. So inside of scalability, if we log in, this is a dashboard of a demo account we put together. If we click on sites over here in this left sidebar, we see here we've got funnels and websites across the top. Funnels, websites, blogs, a client portal, forms, surveys, chat widgets. All of these things are stuff you can just click on and create right here in scalability. So Jot forms are replaced by surveys and forms right inside of here. And if I need a website or a funnel, I'm just clicking right here, websites or funnels. I'm sure a lot of you have blogs. You can build your blogs inside of here. And with our builders, everything is drag and drop. So we have thousands of templates for actually websites to where you can pick out pre-done designs. And I'll show you that here. The first piece of most people's foundation is going to be a landing page or a website. So if we come into sites on the left, funnels at the top, and click new funnel, here we can click from templates. And when I open this up, we're going to have a bunch of categories right here with pre-done designs already built in. And as you scroll down, you can see all these different designs. You can hover over them and click on the eyeball and preview it, and it'll actually let you scroll through it and see what this site already looks like. So it'll have all the text here and the text here and the pictures in the back and like the layout already done. You can go back and search over here on the left, or I'm sorry, up here at the top, you can search fitness. And it will bring up ones that are already laid out with fitness pictures and designs and layouts that we know are formulated to work in the fitness industry. And so you can literally just hover over, grab one you like, preview it, scroll through. If it loads quick, you can scroll through just like the one we were just looking at, and you can see what it looks like. And then you simply click that you want to continue, and it'll automatically load that into your scalability account, and it'll be laid out just like this. Now, if I take and hit continue, it'll add it. You'll watch right here how fast it goes. And then I'll show you how you make your changes and everything to it. Everything's drag and drop. It immediately opens it up, and now we can see that layout, and we hover over it, any element we want, and we can just say, we can just delete that and type in here whatever we want. So it's drag and drop real quick, and you can edit the pieces. If I want to change this photo, I just click on the photo, and over here on the right side, scroll down to where it says photo, upload, and I can upload anything I want from my computer and change out that image. Click save in the top, and we've got a website. So like naturally there's a lot that it can do, but with the templates, you can have websites in place really fast. And the websites are already laid out with things that we know are work in those different categories. The same if we say, when they click on the button, then what exercise, right? When they click the button on my website, I want it to apply to work with me. So I need to create a form or a survey that will walk them through and ask them questions before they book a call. If I click forms right up here at the top, click on builder, I can add a new form. Also, there's templates. And here, there's forms that are already created. So you can come through and you can lay them out. You can say, I like this design. You can preview it, see what it looks like. Click continue. It'll automatically create it. It happens pretty quick. Plugs it into your account, and then the same thing. You open it up, and you can just click on the elements you want. I can click here and change the picture. I can click on this, and I can edit the information right here on the right. I want it required. I want to add information. I can just drag these around and reformat them. So it makes it really easy to make changes and put the pieces in place, right? Because when I got into it, I was sold the idea of like, oh, it's really easy. You just put a funnel in place. I'm like, that's great. And then I found out there was a whole lot of pieces to the funnel that were really hard to figure out. So when we talk about the foundation, and then automation, systems, and then traffic, scalability will let you create your websites with pre-done templates, forms and surveys with pre-done templates. And then over here on the left, if we click automation, so let's say we've got our website in place and we've got a button for a coach to schedule some time with me. We would create a calendar, and then we come to automation. Well, let me create a calendar first. We click on calendars on the left, calendar at the top, and here we simply new calendar, and there's different styles. So collective booking, where you can book multiple people into one class. So I'm going to host a class on this day, and 10 people could sign up. Class booking, kind of along the same lines. Round robin, if you had a team of salespeople. So in other words, if you're selling something and we want to multiply what God's given us, we'll probably have other team members taking calls and selling for us eventually. So we can book round robin, and it'll automatically assign it to me. And then the next person, it'll assign it to this person. The next person will assign it to this person. Or a simple calendar where it's just like Calendly, book it. We create a test. This will have a lot of the same features. Set your availability and everything of like a Calendly calendar would, so it's easy to figure out for most people. But then when we preview it, it's got this nice big format that lays out where people can select a time and a date. They click continue. and now it'll grab their first name, last name, phone, email. This is the standard information that'll be pulled just from creating a calendar like that. But then once you have it, you can just open it up, edit it, and here you can add your logo to it. You can change your availability just by clicking and changing the times and everything here. It's very easy to just drag and drop and click on things. Now, once we have a calendar in place, we want automation, right? So when somebody books an appointment with us, it should send them a confirmation like, hey, you're booked, and then send them reminders to come up to the meeting. I actually build automated reminders into my automations to where when somebody books on my calendar, they get a confirmation and reminders. I also get a reminder from my own system, because we need to clear the headspace to where we're not focused on what we're missing at work, so we can focus on people in our lives, right? You book on my calendar, it could be for tomorrow or 6 days or 2 weeks from now, and it's going to send out reminders to them going, hey, we're live tomorrow. Hey, we're live in an hour. Hey, I'm going to be calling you in 5 minutes. And then it'll shoot me a text. Hey, Aaron, don't forget to call so-and-so in 5 minutes. And I'll be like, oh, okay. And I'll jump on and call them. That allows me to focus on doing what God's called me to the rest of the time and not wonder what I'm missing, right? So if we jump over to automation, there's a bunch of pre-built automations in here. If I create workflow in the top right, these are all pre-done. So if I say appointment confirmation and reminders and click select, it's going to automatically build this workflow to where at the top, when somebody books an appointment on that calendar, it'll send them an email. It'll wait till 24 hours before. It'll send them another email. Wait till an hour before. It'll send them an email, send them a text. Wait till 5 minutes. It'll send them an email, send them a text. And any one of these things, I can click on it. It'll open it up right here on the right side, and I can change whatever I want right here to where it has my own name and my own verbiage and whatever I want in that email that will go out 5 minutes before. Super easy to use. And you saw me just create that like that. Now, naturally, I would have to add some details to the calendar and to the form and to the automation. But you saw real quickly, you can pull up a template for the website and just change out the text and have a website in place. You can put a link to a form, and then at the end of the form, as soon as the form's submitted, it pulls up the calendar. And when they book on the calendar, the automation sends them the reminders to show up where you have a discovery call, and you sell them your coaching program. You sell them on why they should hire you at their speaking thing. Like, this is the way business is supposed to run. Anybody who comes into your scalability platform, it automatically creates a contact profile for them. And inside every person's profile, automatically, it'll have their information on the left with everything they submitted. And then in the middle, you can send them texts and emails all from this one place. And you'll see here, it shows that this email went out and this text message tried to go out, but was unsuccessful. And then on the right, that's because this is a demo account. There's nothing actually set up. Here on the right side, it says what pages they visited, what form they submitted. And then here I can click on notes, and I can add a note, and I can type whatever I want on when I talk to this person, and it will timestamp it with the date and time and the user. So if you have multiple team members, because remember, we're growing this thing. You may be a solopreneur right now, but you might have 20 team members in the future, 20 missionaries in the future. All of them can have their own username and password, log in and work contacts and update details in your system, and you'll always be able to tell who did what at what date and time and read their notes. You can assign tasks to each other just as easily by saying, follow up, do these things, assign it to someone, and set the date and time for them to follow up with them. And when you hit save, it's going to automatically trigger it and put it in there. So this is, I know I'm giving you a super fast run through, but I didn't really clarify how much time I had. I just obviously took an hour. So Brandy, if this was 30 minutes, I apologize.
You're fine. Thank you so much, Aaron, for coming on today and just sharing that. Obviously you fit perfectly into our workshop. Like, didn't he just wrap us up perfectly with his training, just piggyback perfectly? I was like, I've got you teed up, Aaron. Like, Well, I know what you're going to talk about. It's going to be awesome. So, and yeah, it was so good just to get a little sneak peek inside of scalability. I dropped my link for anybody who wants to check out scalability. Like you said, you can do just the 14-day free trial. And obviously, if you need help building it out, I am a resource for you as well. But yeah, thank you so much, Erin, for your time. We are pretty much done with the workshop, other than I'm going to do the raffle drawing for the free business audit. So I was going to have Elijah do it and be cute, but he's over there doing something. So I got your names in the hats. And hold on, wait, I'm not supposed to look at the names, I guess. All right, we got Don R. You get the free business audit. So I'll get with you to set up that time. Awesome. All right, you guys, any other questions or takeaways that you want to share before we wrap up this event? Now,
Just thank you,
so much,
Erin, for being here. Yeah.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. I feel like
And
God's
thank
giving
you.
me something, so I'm going to take it just as hard as I'm telling you guys to.
And thank you, Brandy, for doing this. This has been a huge eye opener for me.
awesome. You're welcome. All right, ladies. Well, happy Friday. Have a great weekend and be safe with whatever you're doing this weekend. And thank you again, Erin, so much for your time and just pouring out your heart to us today. I just really appreciate you so much. So thank you so much, ladies. That is the end of our 2-day workshop. Thanks for hanging out with me for like 6 hours. It's been awesome. All right, have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys later.
See you guys.